Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder of Meldon Law and actively practicing. We're very excited about our show this week. We've got the folks from United Way of Marion County, and Beth and Niki are going to give us the whole layout of all the amazing things this organization does. And Meldon Law supports the United Way of Marion County, United Way of Alachua County, United Way of Columbia County. Wherever there's a United Way, they really do an amazing job of supporting a number of different nonprofits, and it's very important for us to help them out. So we're going to talk a little bit about United Way of Marion County with these amazing women. Getting back to what's going on in the community, my wife Patricia and myself are the co-founders, or I should say co-chairs, of the Alzheimer's Association March, which takes place October 21st, 2023. We're also partnering up this year with John Tull from Florida Sports Properties, and John is going to help us activate this great march. What you can do in your group of friends, in your company, whatever your sphere of influence is put together a group. It doesn't have to be a large group. You can start small and add to it. We would love to have support from different organizations, different people, whatever. Just like I said, 2 or 3 friends start a group and help us support the Alzheimer's Association, which this year is raising money to actually support research that is happening today. And the reason I mention that is the FDA has approved its first drug that helps minimize the effects of Alzheimer's, and I think we're on the cutting edge of some explosive developments that are going to help those afflicted by dementia, Alzheimer's, and related conditions, which, since we're all living longer, is happening more and more and more. You can be completely healthy, work out your whole life, be in perfect physical shape, and still be afflicted with Alzheimer's and dementia because there's a different set of criteria that cause that. So right now, 2023 is the breakthrough year, and we're asking for your support. It will affect someone in your family, someone in your circle of friends, sometime in the future, and now you can actually do something to help create effective drugs that will minimize the effects or perhaps help eliminate the effects of Alzheimer's and dementia. So what do you need to do? Just Google Gainesville, Alachua County Alzheimer's Association, and you will see what you need to do to register for the walk, what you need to do to get involved. We're having meetings in August now to help let everybody know that there are wonderful things that are going on and that you can help. It doesn't take a ton of money. It takes your time and your effort in order to help us out. I'm very passionate about it. This year we're going to raise $140,000. Last year we raised $128,000. So we keep moving it up. There's a Facebook page at Meldon Law. If you go to Meldon Law Facebook page, you will see what's going on as far as the march, and you can link to the Alzheimer's Association through there, or go directly to the Alzheimer's Association. So check it out. It's going to be amazing. Couple other things. as many of you know, I'm passionate about Gator sports, and there's no bigger game every year than the Florida-Georgia game. So we put together an amazing package that we're going to give away to one lucky winner. All you have to do is go to the Meldon Law Facebook page, and you can win 2 great seats for the Florida-Georgia game that we score through our relationship with the Gators, a 2-night stay at the DoubleTree by Hilton, which is an awesome place to stay because it's right on the river, and you can take a ferry right across to the game. Once you park in the garage over there at the DoubleTree, you don't have to move your car because everything is going to be right there. In fact, Friday night, we're giving away, included in the package, a dinner for 2 at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. So that's going to be kind of cool. And then game day, when you get over there, the game starts at 3:30 every year. It's on CBS. And the Gator Hospitality event is you're going to get 2 tickets for that as well. It's really cool. I go before a lot of the home games, the Gator games, and the Gators do a great job of presenting that. In addition to your Meldon Law Gator duffel bag filled with lots of swag, you're going to also get a football signed by Coach Billy Napier. So that's going to be amazing. The contest ends on September 25th. So jump in, don't wait. The game is the 4th Saturday in October, right before Halloween. So let's see if we can upset the Georgia Bulldogs this year. They've had their way with us the last few years. However, the Gators made them our punching bag for almost 20 years. So maybe we can start that trend again. The Florida-Georgia VIP Experience for 2 giveaway. Check it out. Go to Meldon Law Facebook page, and you will find it. Couple other things. Tom Petty weekend coming up. Tom Petty's birthday is October 20th. This year it's a Friday. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the folks at Heartwood Sound Studios are doing a huge Tom Petty weekend festival. You can go online to the Heartwood Soundstage or just put in Tom Petty weekend. For those of you that like music, you're going to see some incredible acts. These are original acts that do some of Tom Petty's songs for the show, but they're actually major acts in their own right. A group called Shovels and Rope. I never heard of them until recently, and I started listening to their music, and they're awesome. They're going to be performing. A young up-and-coming star named Jake Thistle, who I saw for the first time last year at the Tom Petty Festival, is going to be performing. So let's support our local arts. And the Tom Petty weekend is great. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and for those of you that don't know, the Cade Museum in Gainesville, that's like Dr. Cade from Gatorade, his daughter Phoebe is putting together an amazing exhibit in conjunction with Tom Petty's daughter Adria, and it just went up, the exhibit just went up a little while ago. So it's, I believe it's free. Just go to the Cade Museum and you can see the Tom Petty exhibit that's currently showing. The weekend of the Tom Petty Festival on Thursday night, there's a VIP package for those interested, and you can not only go to the museum and see the exhibit, but there's going to be performers there from the Tom Petty Festival. So it's going to be a very, very special weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and if you want to buy a VIP package, you can check it out on Thursday night. So that's some of the stuff going on. Meldon Law is committed to supporting all of the great institutions in our community. We have offices in Gainesville, Ocala, Lake City, and we would like you to join in and have a good time. We live in a beautiful part of the world here. Things are really wonderful. The University of Florida is ranked number 5 public institution in the country, so there's a lot to celebrate. Gator football. Everybody starts talking about Gator football. This coming, Saturday, there's an open practice at the stadium. For those of you interested in following Gator football, starts at 2:30 in the afternoon. It's free. Just mosey on down to the Florida field, the Steve Spurrier field, and that's where we're recording right now at Steve Spurrier's restaurant, the Gridiron Grill. We love it here. We've been doing our show here for a couple of years, and we're very privileged to have support from the whole team here. If you haven't visited the restaurant, it's a museum, a real dedicated museum with plenty of action going on, and they have the best time here. They're open Tuesday through Sunday. I think they open at 4 o'clock, so come on down and support Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Speaking about Florida football recruiting, this is where it takes place. This is the epicenter. If you saw what the Gators did in June to really boost their rankings as far as the recruiting class for 2024, it all took place right here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And Meldon Law, we are the premier North Central Florida injury law firm. We take your case very seriously, and what you'll find out is the team culture at Meldon Law is far and away the best in this community. From the first time you contact us until the end of your case, you will get the Ritz-Carlton experience. It is amazing what our team members do, and I credit all of them for creating a top-notch experience. When you're seriously injured and your life's turned upside down, you can't go to work because you're injured, your income stops, you're hurting, you need medical care, your bills are mounting up. All of that are common occurrences after a serious crash. And at Meldon Law, we're dedicated to helping you turn your lives around and getting you back on the road to recovery after a serious crash. So just go to Meldon Law. Our phone number is 352-373-8000. We've been practicing in the Gainesville area and Ocala area and Lake City area since 1971. So please give us a chance. You won't be sorry. And we won't back down. As Tom Petty's first attorney, I always love that song, hearing that song, and it kind of fits good with the way we practice law at Meldon Law. So give us a shot, and I think you'll be very, very pleasantly surprised. We're getting ready to go to a break, and then we're going to invite our wonderful guest from the United Way of Marion County. We'll be back in just a few minutes on Meldon Law and Friends.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, We're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit?
At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there, and I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
I was driving behind a lady, and very suddenly she moved out of the way. There was a log laying in the road, and when I hit my brakes, I went on top of the log. I had 2 herniated discs. I just haven't been the same since. Jeffrey Meldon fought for me all the way. Him and his team really went there for me. Throughout the whole lawsuit, he made sure that my bills was paid. It was never no whenever I called him and asked him for something.
Call Meldon Law right now.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again!
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey!
Somebody else hit us here!
Here we go again.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I am Jeffrey Meldon here welcoming our guests from the Marion County United Way. Welcome. We have Beth Nelson over here and Niki Tripodi. Tripodi.
You got it.
Tripodi. Okay. Anyhow, welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. It's a great honor to have you here because I know how hard you work all year supporting the many very important agencies that Marion County has. And Marion County is such a growing community. I mean, how long have y'all been living there? Beth?
I have been living in McIntosh for almost 20 years. So I grew up in Micanopy, so I consider myself a Floridian.
Yeah, and I always slow down going through McIntosh.
You better, especially we're Micanopy too.
And Niki, tell us about yourself. How long you lived in Marion County?
Marion County since about 1993.
So you're
lots and lots of moons. Yeah.
So you're a semi-native.
I am from Ohio, so
what part of Ohio?
From Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. I'm from Shaker Heights, Ohio.
And I'm from Akron.
Cleveland.
Okay.
The suburbs of Cleveland. Anyhow.
Been there lots of times.
But I went to Ohio State, so I know Dayton because we had lots of friends from Dayton. That went to, we called it the Big Farm back then.
It still is. It's growing. The White Hat Air Force Base.
So anyhow.
A little more culture.
So let's talk about the United Way of Marion County. Beth, why don't you start by giving us a little bit of an introduction about what's it all about?
Okay. United Way of Marion County has 5 internal programs that we run, and then we also support 19 other outside organizations. So our internal programs include Strong Families, VITA, Reading Pals, the Community Partnership School, and 211.
So start with the first one, Strong Partners?
Strong Families.
Oh, Strong Families.
Yeah, you picked my favorite, okay?
So give us a snapshot of what Strong Families is all about.
All right. In that program, we're really working towards ending generational poverty. We work with families for an entire year. We bring them in, they sit down, they have a meal together. A lot of times it's the first time that a family has ever sat down together and shared that experience. And so it's a little bit chaotic the first meeting because we have kids running around, but over the next 15 weeks, it starts to become a conversation and they bond and they realize what can happen at when you share a meal together.
Yeah, I know that, for a lot of folks that is the exception rather than the rule. Mm-hmm. What happens when people start hanging out together for family?
Well, that's where the program starts, is the meal. We have certified childcare, so then we move into the educational portion of the program. And then we have stakeholders in our community in the financial, banking, business that come in and they teach classes about credit and budgeting and saving, and if they need, so we're moving families. The 4 goals in Strong Families is if a family's homeless, we're getting them stably housed. If they need to increase their income, that's a goal that we're working on. And we decrease debt and we get them education if that's something they need.
So, I wanted to ask you about some of the strategies because I know a lot of folks and friends who have not had educational enrichment in their lives, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And then they have kids, but they're not really well suited to teach them a lot because they weren't taught a lot, and so it becomes a continuous cycle.
Well, that's why we say we're ending generational poverty. I think at one session I had he was 8 years old, he came up to me and he said, "Miss Beth, I've given up slushies." And I said, "Why would you do that?" And he said, while we're teaching the adults, he's in childcare. But what we mean by that, we're still educating the kids and they're learning what their parents are learning in the adult classes. And so he had gotten the message that he could save and that he could support their family's goal of being homeowners. And so he said to me, we're a family of 5. We go almost every day. We get slushies. That's $5 a day, $25 a week. He had done the math for the whole year. And he said, I can help and we want a house. And so that's why that program is impactful. We have measurable goals. And what we're also seeing, I mentioned homelessness, but what we're seeing right now is what we call the ALICE population. It's asset limited, income constrained community. And we know that 51% of the community in Marion County is on the 3 paychecks away from homelessness. It's the working class. And as costs have risen, we're seeing more and more of this population entering our Strong Families program. So I think sometimes people think, oh, it's the homeless or it's not me. But what we're seeing is that it could be you. We have teachers and professionals, and the program is open to anyone that needs help. And we're making great strides there.
That hits home for me because in the personal injury profession, when someone's in a serious crash and they're laid up in the hospital and they don't have income from their job and their debts are mounting, and they were, both the husband and wife were working, but they were living paycheck to paycheck. It's not that unusual. Mm-hmm. And when some kind of serious accident happens, it can completely upset the apple cart.
Well, that's exactly what we're seeing. Like I said, 3 paychecks. That's, just one major event happening, and it could be,
It could be one spouse losing their job. It could be an accident. It could be, a bunch of other things.
Car repair.
Car repair. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many times I've had team members at Meldon Law come to me and say, Jeffrey, can I get an advance on our bonus? Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that I do because I realize that normal, regular people can be put into an upside down situation where, they can't get their car fixed, they can't make their payments, they can't do this. So I'm really admire that. What are some of the other programs you mentioned?
We have our Reading Pals program, and we are in 18 classrooms in Marion County. And we have volunteers that go in and they read twice a week with our students. And that's an impactful program because the stats out there show us that early literacy is so important for success in the future when you're in high school.
What age do you start with?
We're mainly in the kindergarten classroom. We have a couple of VPK classrooms that we're in. So that's our model that we have, but we work in anywhere that program is VPK through 5th grade.
Is kindergarten too late to start teaching reading skills?
You can do it when they're in the womb.
I know people that read to their read or sing to their kids in the womb and stuff. And what you find in well-educated families is that reading is something that starts right away, right?
That's right.
You know, so how do you create that early on in families that just aren't used to that?
I think it's just, in the Reading Pals program, we hope that we're starting with the student. We're helping them build an at-home library, so every time that a pal comes and reads with them, they take that book home. And so we're hoping as they take that home, there's a little instructional pamphlet that they get that tells the parents, hey, this is the benefits of reading with your kid. And so then they can read that book together. And it's usually the kids' enthusiasm that then sparks, even if a parent has never been read to or known, it's usually they're just led by their child.
Yeah, I mean, that's so important because it's funny, with computer technology now, things have changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that young people can't do math in their head anymore, and that if you want to find something, you know, you Google it and stuff like that. However, there's certain basic skills like reading that you still need to do, anything. When you get into the workplace, certainly it's important. Success in school. How do you help develop kids to go to college when they maybe have never had anybody in their family even graduate from high school?
I think that those experiences in the classroom. I also mentioned that we have the Community Partnership School, and I think that's another program that helps with getting kids ready and exposing them to opportunities that even if their parents aren't aware of, they have that opportunity to learn. And so the Community Partnership School is on campus at College Park in Marion County, and they offer mental health, they offer dental services, they offer food, clothing, and so they're working with the whole family, not just the child. We had a little girl that came in, she needed shoes, and as our director talked to her, she realized that the dad didn't have a job. And so then we brought them in and we started talking to the whole family. We were able to connect them to some of our partner agencies like Career Source. The family was, they got jobs and, that improved their life, and so those are things that we're doing where we're working with the whole family.
So you're really giving people kind of a hand up instead of a hand out.
Absolutely. That's what we believe in.
Teach a person how to fish and,
Yeah. Sometimes it's just someone that, they've really had something that's happened. They've moved to the area or they've maybe had a medical thing and then they just need that little help and just that nudge to connect them to the right partner or the right resource that they need.
Are there any other programs you do in-house?
Yes, we do our VITA program, which is our tax program, which is if you're making $50,000 or less, you can come in and sign up get your taxes done for free. And so this is bringing money back into the county and also, just helping people do something that's often perceived as very difficult, right?
I don't think I've never done a tax return myself.
Well, kudos to you.
No, I mean, I like review it and go through tax returns, but if you ask, I guess I could figure it out, right? But,
Right,
you know, however, you're right that most folks don't have the benefit of having tax preparers do their tax returns, and it's a daunting task.
It just can feel overwhelming for some people.
Well, not only that, you may be entitled to $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 worth of refunds, and think of what that means for a family that's getting by.
Man, you hit the nail on the head on that one.
No, I mean that you know, that's the truth. I mean, there's you got, you know, there's an exemption here, there's a write-off here, there's a this, you know, and nowadays for a family of 4 that's making $50,000 or less, the tax consequences should be minimal, and that, you know, that you should be able to get some help. Are there any other in-house?
The last program, and then I'm going to turn it over to Niki to share our overall mission, is 211, and that's our resource helpline. The thing that sets 211 apart is that when you call 211, you are getting a certified counselor that answers the phone, and they're trained in suicide prevention as well. And they are there to say, hey, I need groceries. I'm really struggling. Can you tell me where some of the food pantries are? Or I need a job. And they'll say, yes, it's a database, and go to CareerSource or go here. So we have hundreds of referral in this database helpline. And so it's simply calling 211.
That's great. Now, is that 211 statewide or nationwide?
It is. It's nationwide. It's a United Way program that's done worldwide.
Oh, so United Way over the whole country figured out a way to get a 211 number.
Right.
It's not the same as 411 or 911.
No,
but it's 211.
211. It's valuable.
And so it's really about, so whatever your problem is, you can call 211 and they'll direct you.
Right. And it's not, I think sometimes people get confused, like it's not an end-all be-all. It's not going to give you the answer always, but it's a helpline. So if you're looking for housing, we know if you call 211, the answer is going to be there's no housing. That's the reality. But instead of making 10 phone calls to 10 different agencies, you're making one phone call. And during that phone call, they're like, we may not be able to help with housing, but what other needs do you have? And so they're trained, and they can kind of dial down and figure out what other ways that they can assist that caller.
And it sounds to me like through your community partnership, you may not be able to get them housing, but you may be able to show them how they can eventually get housing.
That's right. We might connect them to the Strong Families program, right? Where we train them, educate them, and get them on their feet and empower them to do what they need to do so they can be successful in the community.
Well, thank you for explaining that all, Beth. And Niki, we haven't been intentionally ignoring
This is a good time for me, so this is what we do.
So why don't you talk a little bit about what your role is in the United Way of Marion County?
You know, my role is, you know, quite honestly, to share the story, you know, to encourage folks to, you know, explore their hearts and their minds and find out what's a meaningful mission for them to support. So, I mean, we kind of all have those areas that are near and dear to our heart. Fortunately for United Way, you know, United we fight, United we win, all of us together collectively. There's probably you'd be hard-pressed to find a service that we don't contribute to. So, I mean, it's all that health and the financial stability and the education. So, I mean, we are supporting so many areas. Quite honestly, you know, even with Beth speaking about the Reading Pals program. So, I mean, that mentorship is really powerful. So, I know we're mentioning that we're trying to get the kindergartners into a space where they're at a proper reading level by 3rd grade, but the Reading Pal program gives them that pal part, right? So just like Beth says, they may not have someone that's reading to them at home, and they may not have someone that looks for them to spend those 10 to 15 quality minutes of flipping pages, even if it's just a picture book, right? And they're gaining a word at a time. The PAL part is that accountability, and those kids really look forward to their PAL to show up, you know, throughout the school year. And so, you know, even $3, so these are the areas that I kind of force and push back a little bit, but $3 a week from someone's, you know, payroll deduction, $3 or $6 every 2 weeks, right? If you're biweekly, that affords one kindergartner a reading pal. So I mean, easy peasy when you break it down like that. But so United Way is just we're kind of our mission as far as raising funds in the community is kind of a couple of areas that we move into. So one is, and everyone knows this one.
I'm going to stop you now.
Go ahead. Okay.
We have listeners here who've heard of United Way their whole way. Start at the beginning. What is the United Way umbrella and all these programs? Some of the programs we're talking about are in-house, and some of them you're supporting. Why don't you give us an idea of what the umbrella of United Way is? Marion County, and I think it's probably modeled around the country.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that and how it's kind of one place where you can, help everybody.
So United Way, from what I've learned, is a mission base that's been around for hundreds of years. So I know for sure that the agency just in Marion County has been around for 64 years. But what we're doing is uniting families and children into become stronger and healthier and happier, and finding those resources for them. So the umbrella, I suppose, is just a collective community coming together to serve different agencies. So how would you speak to that, Beth? I mean, the thing is that we have our internal programs too, which is really a blessing, and not every single United Way has that. So that's kind of how we've been able to advance and grow in our community, is to add those.
Yeah, I think the one thing that's
agents.
unique is that even though a lot of people think about United Way and they may have heard of the model of they're working, they come into your work and they ask you for money. I think that's usually the most common model that people are familiar with, right? But I think where what I think maybe people don't know is that every dollar that's given stays local. So even though it's a national organization, if you give to United Way in your community, those dollars go to where you live.
What kind of a budget does United Way have in Marion County?
So
I'll toss that back to Niki.
Yeah. well, we set a goal. So I mean, we do we have our sources come from grants and from individual donors, and then from those workplace giving campaigns like Beth mentioned. I mean, that's a good bulk of the money that we're trying to raise each year. So we run those annual campaigns. Our goal this year is $1.6 million, and that's truly just to sustain the programs that we have. It doesn't necessarily mean growth so very much, and then those individual donors. So there's a really wonderful program called the de Tocqueville, Alexis de Tocqueville, and that's built up of individual donors that give at a level of $10,000 and up. So that's a lot of fun, because what happens is those individuals contribute to that 1.6 million, if you will. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. So I have a list of the amazing organizations that you all support. Okay, can you talk a little bit about some of those organizations? And I was also interested in finding out if you have your heart set on, say the Boys and Girls Club of Marion County. It's a very important organization. Can people actually designate money to that particular group?
Absolutely. So I'll let you chime in with what I know about that particular arena. Is so we encourage folks, if that's the direction that they want to go, they are most welcome to give directly to the agency. When they give to us, the dollars go through kind of a governed process. So technically we have vision councils that we vet to those particular folks, like Boys and Girls Club, and then they have a criteria to meet to meet the standards so they can receive the funding from us. So help me out, Beth. But
So the vision councils meet, their community leaders, stakeholders, and they convene and they make the decisions out of the three pillars that United Way is education, financial stability, and health. And so we fund 19 organizations, as you mentioned, Boys and Girls Club being one of them, Marion Senior Services, Early Learning Coalition. So, I could rattle off some more, Second Harvest Food Bank, Arnett House. So there's so many that we fund, and you can find the one that meets your passion, right? And the thing that United Way does, not only are we're giving funds, but we're overseeing, making sure that those funds are being spent the way that people said they were going to.
Right.
Yeah.
So if people want to get involved and help, where can they go?
And just to answer your question, so we're super, super clear. They are more than welcome to designate their funds to any of the 19 agencies that we're supporting. So
if they
all they have to do is tell us, and that's exactly what we'll do.
So I want to donate to United Way of Marion County. Where should I go?
UnitedWayofMarionCounty.org. So that is our website. So uwmc.org. There's a bright Donate Now button right at the top right-hand corner. You can give that way.
Is it tax deductible?
It is tax deductible, yeah. So you'll receive that receipt with that.
So everybody, listen up. If you want to help Marion County United Way, it's really easy. Just Google United Way Marion County, and you'll see the donate, and you can donate right there. And if you want to do more, then contact Niki, and she'll go into details about how you can create a program. You can put a team together at your office, right?
Yeah, those are really meaningful. I believe that when folks give collectively as a group of folks in a business, right, it produces just more of a belonging, right? So if you have a team of folks at Meldon Law that give as a workplace campaign, I think it brings you guys closer together. I think there's a sense of belonging versus maybe one of your staff wanting to go work at another firm. They might want to work with you because you're giving back and contributing to the community, but you're doing it as a team. And they have a lot of fun. They can do very creative fundraisers internally, and sometimes it gets a little competitive, which I don't know that everyone hates that. We encourage workplace campaigns. They really do make a huge difference.
Well, I think first of all, you're doing something great, and secondly, it builds team culture.
Absolutely, yes. More productivity. I mean, the list goes on and on, right?
Well, and also awareness. I mean, look, we've all heard of United Way, but I didn't know which of the 19 agencies you're working with. I didn't know that you were, in-house on 5 or 6 programs. I didn't know all these things, and I'm sure that most folks are the same way. So letting people know, that's one reason that we have Niki and Beth on our show today, is to help spread the word. And that's one of the things that we try to do on our podcast, is let people know there's some great organizations with really dedicated people that are trying to build our communities into better places to live. And you can be part of the success of doing that, right?
The donors are the heroes.
The donors are the heroes.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are the heroes. You're doing.
Well, we couldn't do it without the.
You're doing the heavy lifting. We know that, but I appreciate the humility. So let's do a call to action, okay? If someone's out there and you go, boy, I really want to help United Way of Marion County. First, you can go on their website and learn about it. Now, I'm sure that they have phone numbers there, and if you'd like to talk to Niki, you're kind of directing resources, right?
Right.
So what are some of the things that you want to tell folks listening to this podcast?
Sure. Well, I would certainly encourage them to go to the website and explore. Like we said, there's the Donate Now button. You're always welcome to call the office and ask for me. Our social media has, we're on Instagram and Facebook, so you can kind of follow along some of the movement and some of the mountains that we're moving for the folks in the community via the social media. And the need is just abundant right now. We all know kind of where we're at with housing and with some of the folks, with prices rising and just a carton of eggs, right? So we can get the funds to the folks that need it the most, and that's bringing the wealth to the need, right?
Well, thank you very much, Niki and Beth, for joining us on Meldon Law Friends. And we intend to have you back again and bring your message. We also have a radio show on the Sky 97.3 every Saturday morning. And when you're in the middle of your campaign, make sure that you contact our office, and we'll put you on the radio, and you can let people know, we're trying to reach our goal. And I know, fundraising is challenging. However, right now, Marion County is doing pretty good. So let's loosen up some of those purse strings and support an organization that really gives back 110% to our community. Thank you again for joining us on Meldon Law and Friends. We'll be back next week for another episode of Meldon Law and Friends.